The options trading experiment, this is week 3. If you want to watch last week's episode of week 2, there'll be a card in the top right. But other than that, let's get right into it. So going into week 3, our account totals are as follows. We've profited on 2 of the 3 total trades we've done. We have a net gain of $17 on the account, and we have our option money sitting at $517 going into week 3. So let's start things off with the Johnson & Johnson put credit spread that we had opened on Tuesday, March 31st. We went ahead and we sold a put at the $124 strike, expiring on April 9th. We received $20 in premium with a max loss of $80 on this trade. So taking a look at J&J during the week, we opened up the spread while Johnson & Johnson was trading at around 131. Keep in mind, our floor is at the $124 mark. And despite the drop that Johnson & Johnson had when we opened up the spread, it's actually been picking up some momentum, and it ended up climbing up to $140, closing even higher than that on the date of expiration. So yes, we were able to hold both puts until expiration, so they both expired worthless. And just to recap the trade, we received $20 in premium for opening up the spread. We let both puts expire worthless, and we resulted in a $20 gain. Moving on, we have Bank of America. We had a put credit spread that we opened on Thursday, April 2nd. We went ahead and we sold a put at the $18 strike. This one, however, expiring on April 17th. We did receive $20 in premium, and our max loss for this trade is also $80. So taking a look at Bank of America during the week, we did open up the spread while the stock was trading at around $20 a share. Our floor is at the $18 mark, and Bank of America, just like Johnson & Johnson, had great momentum during the week, and it ended up closing just shy of $25 on April 9th. And yes, we did ended up taking profits on this trade. As you can see here, we ended up closing the trade for just $4. And to recap the trade, we went ahead and received $20 in premium for opening up the spread. We did not hold till expiration. We did close early for $4, resulting in a $16 gain on the Bank of America put credit spread. So now let's move on to our purchase during the week, which was with Delta, ticker symbol DAL, and on April 17th at the time of purchase. If we take a look at the MACD, there's not much going on there. We could see some momentum start to build up on Delta if we can get some good news in the markets, but nothing definitive there. Same goes for the RSI. It is sitting at 32 and moving up, but it's kind of premature. But if we take a look at the sticks, we do see that there is some sort of level of support at the $20.70 range, with the lowest low being at $19.10. So that's going to be our strategy going into this play. So we went ahead and we opened up a put credit spread. We received $25 in premium. We went ahead and sold a put at the $19 strike. However, we did give ourselves a lot of time by selecting the May 1st expiration. We did go ahead and purchase the $18 strike put just to cap our loss at $75. So I am feeling pretty good about this trade. We were able to receive more premium than the last few trades just because we picked a farther or a further out expiration. And there's also a little bit of implied volatility on these contracts since Delta is reporting next week. So if we take a look at Delta during the week, we went ahead and we opened up the spread while the stock was trading at around $23, and our floor is at the $19 mark. The stock did ended up going down after we had opened up the spread, but so far it has picked up and it closed at around $24 on April 9th. So we are still holding on to this trade. However, I do want to start setting up profit triggers on my trades just so I could realize a profit faster and not have the risk of waiting till expiration. So we're going to go over a quick example of what do I mean by a profit trigger, and we're going to use Delta as an example. So basically I want Robinhood to automatically close my trades once I can realize 50% of the initial premium collected. So taking a look at Delta as the example, we had collected $25 in premium when we opened up this trade. And when you're setting up a credit spread, the initial premium that you collect, that's going to be your max gain. So what I want is Robinhood to close the trade once I can realize 50% of that 25. And we could do a formula just to get the number in which we want to close the spread at. And to do that, you would just take the initial premium that you collected, aka your max gain, and you're going to multiply that by 1 minus the gain that you want. So in my case, it's 50%. We're gonna do 1 minus 50%, which coincidentally is 50. But the formula would look like this: the max gain times the 1 minus the gain that you want. In my case, it's 50%. So 25 times 50% is $12. It's actually $12.50, but I'm rounding down just so I can keep the $13, keep those extra 50 cents. So let's take a look at Robinhood and just see exactly how we could do this. We open up the Robinhood app, we go to the spread that we had recently opened, we click on trade, we click on close, then you wanna click on the gear on the top right, then you wanna click on good till cancel, so the trade could remain open until cancellation, until you canceled it, or 90 days. And then for the limit price, you wanna go ahead and put the profit trigger that you got from the formula. So I wanna go over another quick example just so we can change up the percentages real quick. So let's say you're willing to take a little bit more risk and you want to close the trade at 80% gain. You think you could do way better than 50%. You think you could close the trade and gain 80% of the premium. So how would you do that? You would take the max gain, in this case is $25, and you would multiply it by 1 minus the 80%. 1 minus 80% is 20%. So the formula would be $25, the max gain, times 20%, which gives you a $5 closing price. So if you want to set a profit trigger to gain 80% of the premium on this trade, you would go through the same steps, and instead of putting $12 as your limit price, you would put $5 to close the trade out. So that's pretty much the end of week 3. And just to do a quick recap, we had a put credit spread on Johnson & Johnson that we gained $20 holding till expiration. We had another gain on another put credit spread on Bank of America that we did close early, but we did get the majority of the premium at $16. And we currently have a pending put credit spread on Delta expiring on May 1st. So for the week, we had a total gain of $36 in week 3, which is absolutely phenomenal. So here is our account after the 3 weeks, ending on week number 3, April 9th. We've profited on 4 of the 5 total trades that we've done. We're sitting on $53 in gains, and our option money is at $553. So looking at some potential plays for week 4, it is earnings season, which is going to start off on April 13th with the big banks. We have banks like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and the list goes on and on. And as far as plays going into week 4, I'm not going to open up any spreads before earnings. The only one that I do have open is Delta, which has already been opened. However, I am looking in to see how the big banks perform. I do want to open up a spread after earnings on probably Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, or Delta. I don't want to run the risk of opening the spread before earnings, say on Monday, even though there is more implied volatility, so there will be higher premiums out there. There's also a big chance that some of these stocks are going to have huge price swings, and I don't want to get caught up in that, at least not for this week. So I am planning to make a couple trades after earnings once we see where the stocks are and where the price goes. So those are my plays for week 4. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to watch last week's episode, which was week 2, there is a card with the link and a card on the screen. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to earnings season and having a strong week 4.